All right, here on Metropolis, over on the right side spawn, we have Liquid.Sheth stepping in for Liquid after Hero, Tasia, and Xenio have all been dealt with by Slayers. He's going to have to do some work here against SlayerS.Brown, the blue Protoss down on the bottom spawn of Metropolis.
That's right. And Metropolis, I don't know, I think a lot of people have been knocking this map lately. From a spectator's perspective, it's produced some very entertaining games, and I still really like it, but I can see where a lot of the complaints come from. I hope it's going to be maybe a bit reimagined, reworked, though, to continue with competitive play over the coming months, because I still think it produces some very fun, albeit very long games.
Yeah, sometimes TVZ gets a little bit out of hand. I mean, that's the only time you can see the insane battles that we saw between MVP and Curious, and Hyun and Byun actually had a really long game on this map as well.
Yes, it did.
And Hyun and Gumiho had an extremely long game on this map.
It was like 45 minutes long or something like that.
That was the one.
Ravens.
Mass Ravens, exactly. So that was the auto turrets actually winning a game for Gumiho. That was this map. So ridiculous things can happen. It does serve as a nice way to kind of mix it up a little bit, though. We'll see what Sheth has in store for Brown, though. Is he going to try and keep up macro-wise, or is he going to try to be a little bit more aggressive? I feel like aggression might be the right choice here against Brown.
Well, let's see here. Spawning pool, of course, coming up to make sure that no shenanigans happen at the beginning of the game. Cannon shenanigans for those not in the know.
Silly people.
That's right. Everyone should know about shenanigans now.
They're a thing.
Yeah, it's true. Well, we'll see. Brown is looking like he's going to go ahead and Nexus first. He does on 16. Which is a little bit interesting because he should have been into his 17th probe there, unless he's saving up Chrono Boost. And he is. Okay, he did save one Chrono Boost, so it was a little bit different build order there, but things are going to get underway for him now.
All right, he's saving up for a rainy day. He actually did just build something and cancel it immediately, though, as Sheth got that hatch rate down, so I'm not sure what it was, but he started something and then canceled it. I think it was a gateway for a second, and then he canceled it and built a forge instead. But either way, he's going to get that forge online now, and Sheth really just making his first 6 lings. These are usable to hang on to Zolnega Towers. They're usable to come check out the front of Brown, see what kind of build he's doing, and of course they're going to help him stay alive in case any zealots show up.
Yeah, and Sheth should be able to take a third base here in about 20 or 30 seconds or so if all goes according to plan. Of course, the Photon Cannon's already coming up at the front, and this drone is already getting in position to put down that third base, so nothing really going to affect that. There is a probe buried on the left-hand side, though, and I thought I saw the Zergling queued up. No, just Overlord queued up to move off to the left and check for any sort of probes, things like that. I'm sure these Zerglings are, well, never mind. They're not going to retreat. This probe is going to get a really good look at his opponent's base.
Yep, the probe just walks in there, surveys the land, makes a little note in his probe notebook, and now he's scooting his way back home. Obviously, one Zergling is going to try and stop him from returning with that information, but of course Brown already knows. But that's okay. Yeah. The probes are telepathic now. Their notebooks are actually cloud services from Microsoft. So, yeah, anytime a probe sees something, the other probes can pull it immediately.
Go probe!
From the
You're
cloud.
So close!
Nope.
No!
Yet
He goes
so
down.
far.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, well. Nothing too out of the ordinary for Brown at the moment, though. He decided to double gas afterwards. We saw he went for a Stargate play last time that Xenio just wasn't able to pick up on at all. I think he just walked over there and actually picked up on the fact that these were going down. He'll definitely have vision of that here momentarily.
Yep.
Okay, he can't actually see the edge of it if he gets close enough.
Yeah, the health bar is actually depleting, so if he had a close enough eye anyway, he'd be able to see that it's now yellow and will eventually, you know, get lower and lower. But more lings, actually no more lings in production from Sheth. He's just going to be building drones and queens and overlords and all those macro-y things that Zergs love to build. There is a Stargate coming up now for Brown, though, so it looks like we could see a return to the build we saw on the previous map.
Well, it worked pretty well then, and we'll see if it works just as well against Sheth, or Sheth is going to be a little bit more prepared for this. Of course, he has double gas coming up at about the right time. How many drones did he have? Yep, 34. That's pretty much exactly when you decide to put those up. And he'll go for Layer Tech, Roach Warren, Evolution Chamber, all that good stuff here in just a bit as well when he builds up to about 45 or so drones.
I remember many moons ago on maps like Scrap Station, Sheth's biggest weakness was protecting his drones. Curious curious if that's you know, been a point of contention with him the entire last 2 years. But back in those days, if Hellions got into his base, he usually fell apart pretty quickly. You know, if Phoenixes or something were to come and harass, that's one point that Sheth still works on. I remember at Face Off, when he was practicing before the second series began, he was just splitting his drones. That's what he was practicing, because we could see his monitor, and he was just splitting drones as often as he could while warming up, just to try and, you know, keep them away from Banelings or you know, Hellions or whatever the case may be. But actually, Brown is not even going to be building Phoenixes. He started with a Void Ray and is now going into Robotics Facility pretty quickly.
And this Void Ray actually has picked up both kills there. 4-gate follow-up to this, of course, with +1 weapons. This will be a strong coordinated attack from Brown. Oh, did I say 4 gates? I'm sorry. He's already up to 5. And now 6 gates. So a big 6 gates, possibly 7?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not 8? Let's just do 8. Get rid of that Robotics Facility. You don't need it. Either way. You rarely see just 5. It's usually just going to be 4 or as many as you can possibly crank out, which is 6 or 7 or 8 even in some cases on 2 base. Warp Prism is coming out though, so Brown is looking to be super duper heavy in the next couple of minutes with his Warpins.
Yeah, he's also looking to be super duper all in, as he is actually going to be able to pick off the Overlord, but loses most of his life on the Void Ray. He will get out of there. With continued Void Ray production, with the Warp Prism, with 7 gates at the same time, this is going to require all of his available resources, and it's going to be very difficult for him to expand out of this unless you were to take it like right now and then delay one warp in and let them come in afterwards. But it doesn't look like he has the intention to do that now.
Well, with no Infestation Pit finished for Sheth, he really only has Lings to be able to defend against this, and Roaches are a possibility. He doesn't actually have any standing at the moment. Obviously, they don't really help against Void Rays either, so this could be actually really, really tough for Sheth to be able to fight back against.
No.
Oh, and with sentries loaded up, of course, the lovely thing you can do with sentries is force field that ramp over and over again. So Sheth having 2 hatcheries on the low ground means that these sentries can continually force field and keep those out of the fight for a very long time. The lair is under exposure now. These Void Rays will be able to charge up and kill quite a lot of drones. The sentries, all they have to do is stay alive long enough to drop more force fields, and they will be able to kill a lot of drones here.
And all you do is get inside of the Warp Prism, and they'll drop right back down here in just a second and continue to force field off that ramp, and he does, preventing all of the Lings from getting in. And Sheth has already lost quite a few workers, 21 of them to be exact, and things are already looking pretty rough for him.
Right, after losing that layer now to just Zealots after they finished off the last remaining drones, it looks like Sheth is in big trouble. Really, all he's got on the low ground are these Roaches and Lings, maybe a couple of Queens as well. The Void Rays are going to keep trying to pick off those Overlords. Sheth is not going to want to have to replace them with his very few precious remaining larvae. The Roach Warren has been taken out now, and Sheth has not rebuilt it. If he goes, actually, did he already kill the spawning pool as well? So
no, it's right there. It's
I saw the Infestors building, and I was like, he's not building any Lings. I thought for a second that he'd already killed the spawning pool. Either way, Brown already has just a very, very impossible force to kill here with just Roaches and Lings. 3 Void Rays alone. If he can manage to kill the Queens, that's essentially going to be all she wrote. And with more Warpins coming all the time, no pressure on Brown at all to slow down. He's got a Robotics Bay coming along. He can just form everything up and get back to work on the natural of Sheth.
Yeah, and so now everything has been cleared out inside of the main as soon as the spawning pool falls. Bye-bye. And this is a rough situation for Sheth. He already preemptively rebuilt his Roach Warren and spawning pool. I do not believe he went back up to lair. He did not. He's going to be content with the number of infestors he's going to have here in just a second. And he needs to not just crush this army, but then come back and do some economic damage in just a bit.
His infestation pit's actually at his second base. Just above, yeah, there it is. So he could still build some more infestors. It looks like he does actually want to, just doesn't really have a great income to be able to do that at the moment. But all these Void Rays coming in now, there's just not a lot of anti-air. He's going to need these infested Marines to be able to deal with the Void Rays. Actually, all the Stalkers and Zealots getting cleaned up in the main of Sheth now, or actually what used to be the main, as there's nothing left there now.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, not that many units left over here, and not sure why Brown does, why he would keep his foot off the gas pedal. He could probably actually just move in and destroy the rest of his opponent's forces, and indeed, he does have that Colossus up now. These Stalkers, oh, can Can they actually knock it out? Oh,
They're
they
a bit
can't.
too fat.
He has to ferry them onto the low ground. That's unfortunate. Oh, wait. No. Okay, no, he does have to ferry them, it looks like. Yeah, he just tried to queue them up. Maybe now? No.
Nope, they're just too fat. They can't actually escape their own base unless they take out the destructible debris or a cannon or something. Either way, these Voiders are actually going to get fungled and queened down, so they have been destroyed. And Brown still has a very large standing force, though. All these Stalkers, yeah, they did just destroy that pylon to be able to escape. That's a lot of sentries there, too, to protect against the Lings that will be coming out from Sheth. The Colossus should be able to do a lot of damage. I don't even know if he's got extended thermal lances or if it will matter.
He does, actually.
He does, actually. So, you know, the huge number of sentries and stalkers that he got will be able to defend that Colossus pretty well. There's no corruptors or any threat of that. So, really, he just has to keep the Colossus alive with good force shields and guardian shields, and he should be good to go here.
And Fungal Growths alone aren't going to be enough. Sheth did catch a lot of units with that. You can see there's still plenty of stuff left over. There's the GG exclamation mark from Sheth, and Brown has put Slayers just one game away from taking this set against Team Liquid.
All right, so Brown putting the score up to 4-1 for Slayers. Liquid looking to be in dire straits. They only have a couple of options left to try and get 4 more kills against Slayers. Whoever's able to defeat Brown, obviously Slayers still has a large array of terrific Protoss players, Terran players, and Zerg players at their disposal that they could toss in at any moment to try and finish the series. So big job for somebody on Liquid. Who's it going to be?
Okay, well, looks like waiting. I don't actually know yet. It's loading. So, guys, we're going to keep you in suspense, and we're going to run to a commercial break, and we'll be back for game number 6.